Today we are diving into chapter 5 of Tanya. We want to fully understand the idea of grasping, as in the words of Elijah, no thought can grasp you. So this refers to the idea that no thought can grasp God. When studying something, two things happen. The first thing that happens is that your mind becomes grasped or absorbed by the concept itself. Or you even see that your mind becomes captured by the concept, right? Your attention is completely captured as your mind is trying to understand the concept. And secondly, your mind grasps and absorbs the concept. Now, these two things are happening simultaneously, meaning when you are introduced to a new idea that you completely do not understand, the idea of this new concept is completely grasping, absorbing, or capturing your mind as you're busy trying to understand it. Now, as you grasp one aspect of the idea, your mind is then absorbing that idea within the mind itself, and so to speak, capturing the idea. So while you're busy trying to understand this concept, it's absorbing you, meaning it's absorbing your intellect, right? And so you've ever noticed that you're really absorbed in something and someone says, hey, what's up? And you have to you're startled almost because you were so being absorbed by that concept in a true state of concentration. And once you understand the concept, you are absorbing, grasping the idea within your mind. As you understand part of an idea, but you're still grappling with another aspect, you're both grasping and being grasped simultaneously. So here's our question. Is there value to learning a Torah ruling that never occurred nor will ever occur? Meaning really going to the halachas, the in-depth details of what you would do in such and such a situation, even though the situation never occurred nor will ever occur. Is there even a value to that? So understand, we first have to understand what is Torah. So Torah is both God's will and God's wisdom. We're talking about God's will and God's wisdom. We're talking about the sefirot in Atzilut. So these are the 10 sefirot, and you can look at the crown, right? That is God's will. The outermost aspect of the crown is God's will. I like to think of the crown in very human terms, okay? The crown has an outer layer, which if you think of it like a donut, okay? There's the outer layer of the donut, which is God's will, and there's the inner part, which is the jelly, which is God's delight in the world. I know that's very Hanukkah-like example. Okay, so there's God's crown, and the outer aspect, or the outer aspect of the donut, is God's will, and God's wisdom is God's sphere of Chachma, right? So that's what Torah is. It's both God's will, His crown, and His wisdom. So the answer is yes. Yes, there's absolutely infinite value in learning a piece of Jewish law, even if it's never going to actually practically fall into existence. And the reason is because in that moment you're learning the halacha, you are being grasped by God's Torah, and as you're understanding it, you are grasping the Torah within you. So wait, hold up a second. Which one is it? Is God ungraspable? Like we said at the beginning, ein machshava tfisa b'klal, no thought can grasp him at all. Or is God graspable? Which one is it? And the reason we're saying that God is ungraspable because no finite being can grasp something infinite, right? That's not possible. If I'm never going to be able to grasp something finite, infinite, as long as I'm a finite being. So generally that's true, but as always, there is a spiritual hack, okay? And what is the spiritual hack? What is the exception to the rule? Is when divine wisdom and will is dressed in the final rulings of Jewish law. God's Torah and His will and wisdom, God's Torah is His will and wisdom. Since God made Torah in a way that we can grasp, He allows us via Torah to grasp Him. So here's our equation. God is one with the Torah. God's Torah is His will, and it's His wisdom. And God is completely one and united with His will and with His wisdom. And so when I'm learning a Torah ruling, I'm completely being grasped and grasping God Himself, because He's trying to put Himself into the Torah. And so therefore, it's almost irrelevant whether it's going to happen or not. Either way, the value is inherently in the moment of learning it, which is that experience of grasping God's essence and being grasped by God's essence. This is what the Tanya calls a yichud nifla. Okay, this is a major term here. A wondrous unity. Or as the practical Tanya puts it, a phenomenal merging experience. When studying Torah, you become one with the matter you are studying. God put Himself in the Torah. So as you learn it, you become one with God's will and wisdom, which is the subject matter. So you might be thinking to yourself, okay, so I guess anytime I learn anything, this is like this dual, grasping and being grasped process is happening, right? It's also a wondrous unity. But no, it is a difference between learning Torah versus learning any other subject matter. And this is how the Alter Rebbe brings it down for us. If you learn about the planets, do you become one with the planets? No. Your mind unites with the concept of the planets, but there remains a duality between the idea and the thing itself, right? You're learning about the subject matter, but the subject matter is not one with the thing itself. It's just the concept. Versus, God looked into the Torah and created the world. Torah is a blueprint of creation itself. When you study something in the Torah, that thing is a direct product of the ideas that exist in the Torah, and therefore you have a phenomenal merging experience. Meaning, what has happened